been a bit of a whirlwind the last few days, but coming back today, just the last few minutes thinking, okay, what should we speak about today? I was thinking of meditations on gratitude. Celebrating this Thanksgiving occasion, 400 years now. So I know there's a lot of debate about this, but what isn't up for debate is the importance of gratitude in general. And so I want to share some of my feelings on gratitude, and also perhaps go around and ask everyone something they're grateful for, and something kind of a meditation on gratitude. And then just had a few minutes to even think about giving class. So I was talking to Maharaj and here and there and getting heaters and running around. So just remembering some of the things Srila Gurudev said to be grateful for. And, a verse I thought we could all meditate on and learn perhaps over the next few days. I want to start incorporating verses in the evening like you were doing. We can have like a meditation verse that we can learn over a few days as we talk about the subject in general. And I'm also going to be continuing, we were talking with Tirtha, our Gita, Rise with the Gita course. I know in the mornings will be some Gita also, leading up to Gita Jayanti. So it's important to create our spiritual, you could say, backbone. Bhagavad Gita is very important. A lot of our philosophy that we're focusing on, but a lot of like our engagement and our service for Thakurji, it's all like the meat and the bone, the juicy rasa, and like all the flesh of our spiritual corpus. But without a skeleton, that all just fall apart. It'll just flop around. So the rasa needs a structure that, we say rasa is like the water that binds. But what are you binding? Cement, sand, brick, stone. Then you make a building. We often hear this example. Rasa means like the mood of spiritual life, the mellow, the relationship with Krishna, with Guru, that's the rasa. So that's like the binding force, the water. But what is the rest of the substance? You need something to bind. And so Bhagavad Gita and our philosophy builds up our spiritual skeleton. Then the rasa has a place to hold on to. It can become incorporated, you could say, as a corpus. And so that's why we're gonna, it's important to learn the philosophy, understand and meditate how we're not the body, and understand the difference between body, mind, spirit. Mind and spirit also. Oftentimes we identify with the mind. There's a whole story that we're not going to get into now, but about Indra, the king of the demigods, and Virochana, the king of the demons. How they approach Brahma, the creator of the universe, and we're asking about what is the nature of the self. Some identify the self with the body, some with the mind. It's neither. Something higher, more pure, spiritual, hidden, that needs to be uncovered or discovered and awakened. So anyhow, gratitude. What are we grateful for? It's 400 years now. I was like, when I don't actually know much about Thanksgiving because we're not that interested with, I've lived in India 16 years, so I never celebrated Thanksgiving because, ultimately, we have so many of our spiritual holidays in our tradition. And so we were talking about it today at the program, like we have so many holidays, like we have unlimited Vaishnav holidays, we're so lucky. So I've never even thought about Thanksgiving since like 2005 and before. But it's actually a good, important, tradition in one way, in the sense of learning to be grateful, meditating on gratitude, and also what does it mean to be grateful and to, you could say, to live out, not just to speak. Like, what does it mean to be grateful, really? So I wanted to have like a little bit of a meditation on gratitude, but then also a discussion on what it means to show gratitude. Is it just like words, feelings, or actions? I think it's a combination. We say we should offer Guru our body, mind, and words. And we are hearing how that is arti. Arti is the main thing. Aratrika means three main items. And Gurudev describes that the three main items of arti are body, mind, and speech. And so you could say arti is like an offering of gratitude in one sense. And how do we do that? How do we show gratitude? By offering our body, our mind, and our speech. Meaning our center of emotion and our internal kind of experience in our action, and also verbally, because what you speak is almost like a spell. A mantra is like a spell that creates almost like an actualization process. Thinking, feeling, willing. Speaking is connected to the thinking, feeling, willing process. If you're always speaking about mundane things, you're going to experience a mundane life. If you're speaking about spiritual things, you'll experience a spiritual life. So I feel, just kind of, in meditations and gratitude, I was thinking about this ashram, for me personally, how I'm grateful for the chance to serve. This year I've been, I want to go around and have everyone give a chance to speak, but I'll start with myself, lead by example. Again, what does it mean to be grateful? And I remember whenever people ask me about being here, I think I've been saying, I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve. I'm trying not to be grateful for, it's like grateful for having received benefits or grateful for having received opportunity to serve. And if we don't become grateful for the opportunity of service that is given, then the risk is that we waste that, and ultimately everything just decays and falls apart because we're happy being kind of spoon-fed, things. But I'm very grateful for all of you, and for that we have a place here, a shelter here. That's something to be grateful for. That we have association of devotees. That's something to be very grateful for. It's a difficult thing in this world to have shelter, but then to have spiritual and nourishing shelter, and a place and a home where we can have a spiritual, not just a purpose, but a spiritual engagement. Spiritual engagement and belonging. Belonging and engagement kind of go hand in hand to a certain degree. We feel like we belong when we have responsibility and engagement. Otherwise we feel a bit like a riven cloud, like what is my purpose here? So when we have responsibility, then we can have spiritual engagement, and then we can have spiritual belonging. But it's also grateful because belonging comes when there's more than one. We don't just belong to one. We belong to a family, a community. And so that's also something to be grateful for. Grateful for community. Then we can belong to something, not just like an idea or ourselves, an individual. In family life, in spiritual family life also. Spiritual community is so important. That's sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha means association of devotees. And the best kind of sadhu sangha is devotees who are nourishing, affectionate, who can help us advance. In other words, who are advanced to some degree. So that's the idea of sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha isn't just friends and peers. Sadhu sangha should also be sadhu sangha swajatya ashray snigdha. Giving shelter, helping us advance, giving guidance with friendship and affection, and then helping uplift us. A drowning man cannot help another man from drowning. Someone who doesn't know how to swim cannot help teach someone to swim or save someone from drowning. So that's why in spiritual life we should be grateful to our seniors also, our teachers. It's a time for gratitude to whoever our teachers may be. And there's an interesting story. Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, one of our very dear gurus in our line, like our uncle guru. Because as a disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, Vaman Goswami Maharaj was his big brother. So he's like our big brother, like our uncle. What do you call in Hindi? Like an uncle who's the big uncle, like Bada Chacha.
Oh, I forgot.
So who's our uncle? Who's always like, they say grandfather is very affectionate, but uncles are also very affectionate, especially elder uncles. They're very affectionate and also very supportive. So there's a story about Vaman Goswami Maharaj that goes nicely with gratitude. Just kind of, I was saying meditations on gratitude because I haven't really thought anything out in advance, so it's just whatever's coming. And we can offer it as like a meditation on gratitude. So when Bhava Goswami Maharaj was a young boy, like you imagine Arjuna in like 3-4 years. 7, 8. Actually, he came to the Math when he was still in the womb of his mother. And so his mother was like, Gurudev says, mother is like first guru. So his mother brought him, and she was always, ever since he was born, little baby, she would bring him to the temple. And so he developed a mood of the devotees being like his family, the sadhus being like his family. So he went to a devotee school. It's called the Bhaktivinoda Institute. And there, they learned different subjects also, all different academic subjects, but the spiritual subjects were just as important. And if you didn't pass the spiritual subjects, you would fail the school. So it's like you had to pass all the different subjects, including the spiritual subjects. And all the sadhus, the sannyasis and the monks, they were the teachers. So Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, who is the guru of the whole organization, is the acharya, the mahant. He would visit the school, a few times quarterly or something like that, and examine them, test them. So he asked Bhava Goswami Maharaj, who's your guru? And he said, my first guru. And then he offered gratitude and respect to his teachers in the school. There was different teachers. Param Gurudev was manager in the school, like the dean, you could say. And many other teachers were there, very qualified shiksha gurus, you could say, instructors, teachers. And proper quality of Gurudev would say, the proper quality of a teacher is that they have love and affection. They control with love and affection, but they also control, but they control with love and affection. So we were meditating, I don't know if it was with Ishan, and we were talking about it, how sadhus are known to be Vajradapi Katorani, Mridana Kusumadapi. Hard as a thunderbolt, soft as a lotus. How important both qualities are. Because to grow in spiritual life requires growth. Why do we talk about growing pains? Because growth can be painful. Some things have to be given up, and some discipline must be there. Something has to be developed. We have to give up our baby teeth. We have to give up the mother's, could say suckling at the mother's breast. We have to mature and develop and grow up. And so guru has to be, or teacher has to be, Vajradapi Katorani, hard as a thunderbolt. So that's the controlling, but with love and affection, soft as a lotus. So that's why, what are we saying when we have a verse for guru? So we should be grateful for guru, and we should also be grateful for chastisement. If it's from guru who has love and affection, really cares genuinely for us, and it shouldn't be, chastisement is something there that when we offer our heart, we offer ourselves to guru, and he's qualified, and he accepts us, then if there's that relationship, then chastisement can be there. Narottam Das Thakur, there's a verse, he prays to guru, please, when will you chastise me? Korobe sasan, when will you discipline me? Heno ki hoive mor narmasaki gan, anugata narotam koribe sasan. Narottam Das Thakur. So it's also something to be grateful for. I've been chastised many times, and I'm grateful for those chastisements. In my meditations on gratitude, I'm grateful for my chastisements from my superiors, because that's helped me develop a sober mood and also develop proper understanding of what it means to practice spiritual life. Spiritual life is not a whimsical, sentimental thing. Spiritual life is a very serious and sober thing. So there's a verse about guru. Guru Karnadaram. That in life, human life is very rare. It's a very rare, special opportunity. It's like a vessel by which we can cross over the ocean of birth and death. But a vessel without an oar, without favorable winds, or without some propulsion, and without a captain guiding, if we're out on the open seas with no compass, with no idea how to navigate, we're going to die. That vessel is useless. So therefore, what is guru? Guru Karnadaram. Guru is the captain. That means Karnadara means the captain. But what does it also mean? He who twists the ear. Karnadaram. He holds your ear and he twists it. That is guru. But it's like a mother twisting the ear of the child with so much love and affection. So therefore we sing to Guru, Hey Shri Guru Jnana Dadina Bandhu Swananda Data Karunaika Sindhu Vrindavanasina Hitavatara Radha Pranaya Prachar. We are grateful to Shri Guru, who is coming from the spiritual realm. This is Sadguru, the spiritual, pure Guru. And then we're also grateful for all our teachers, for all those who have helped us on the path. Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj showed that in his story. He showed gratitude to the teacher in his school who helped him. Because pure Guru Acharya like Mahanta, they're very busy. They have tens of thousands of followers. How much time can they give each of us individually? They can inspire in the heart. They can lead from the heart. And if we're lucky, we can have some proximity, some close proximity in some time, at least sometimes every year. But also, Guru sends us to Shiksha Guru, because Shiksha Guru can help us in a more personal way. Diksha Guru is described to be like father. Shiksha Guru is mother. So what you can't do with your father, your mother, like if your father has to be more strict, mother can be more soft and nourish. So if we think of Guru, hard as a thunderbolt, soft as a rose, sometimes Shiksha Guru is more like the mother, more sweet and soft and nourishing. And Diksha Guru will chastise. But that chastisement is also sweet. When we sing to Krishna, Madhuram Madhuram, everything is sweet about Krishna. Your sasana is sweet, your chastisement is sweet. So that's also something to be grateful for. I'm grateful to the times I've been chastised, and they've been numerous. I remember many times. Strong chastisement. Sometimes it's like, I don't know if I have to think of a metaphor, like getting hot water poured on you. Scalding chastisement. And then you kind of like curl up, lick your wounds. It can take a few days, few weeks. But when you come out of it, it helps to be grateful, because then the other side can come. If you don't accept it, then what can come? You can become hateful, full of malice, anger, lash out. So this is a time for gratitude, and that's why if we want to be grateful, we have to be careful not to be like of a victim mentality. We're all, you could say, victims of our own bad choices. That's why we're in samsara, material existence. But we shouldn't blame that on God, we don't blame that on Guru, we don't blame that on others. This is something to be, what does it mean to be grateful? One of the verses we could use for gratitude is this verse Mahaprabhu instructed us to meditate on. What is that? Tatenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatmakritam vipavya Ridvagvapurbir vididhan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadhaya bhak. Gratitude. Even though I may be suffering so much in life, life is hard. Suffering is like inevitable half of life. And happiness is also part of life. Happiness and suffering are both irrevocably part of material life. So what does Krishna say? Tatenu kampam susamikshamano. I accept whatever suffering that comes to me. I bear that. Thinking of it as anukampam, as mercy. Such a mind-boggling conception. What problems come to me from others, from the world, from my own mind? That is the Lord's mercy. Punjana evatma kritam vipakam. And it's the results of my own activities. Someone else is causing us pain, some problem in the world is coming to us. My own mind, my own senses are disturbing me. This is the result of my own activities. I heard a cool story today. We heard this from Ramanath Prabhu. There was a sadhu who, I haven't heard this story from other sources, but it's a good story anyhow. It's the first time I heard it. It's like an anecdote. Bhishma Dev, Lord Krishna took Arjuna and Yudhisthira and all the Pandavas and Draupadi to see Bhishma Dev lying on a bed of arrows. So the question came up, why is Bhishma Dev pierced his whole body with arrows, lying on a bed of arrows? And he asked Krishna, I know my last 100 births. He said this is like some Vaishnava had told this story. Probably Aniruddha Guru, I think Aniruddha Guru. So, have you heard this one? So, Bhishma Deva asked Krishna, he wasn't like complaining. He said, why am I laying here on this bed of arrows? What did I do to deserve this? Because he had the understanding of karma. He said, I know my last 100 lives. I never did anything to deserve this in my last 100 lives. Krishna said, I know your 101st life. You know up to 100, I know 101. 101 you were as a child, like torturing like a snake, poking it with so many needles and like sticks and causing it pain. So now this is the reaction. So this is just an anecdote we hear from Vaishnavas, but the point is that we may think, like generally people say, why do bad things happen to good people? But Mahaprabhu says, Tatenu Kampam, think of that as mercy. Be grateful for that also. It's a hard lesson on gratitude. Oof. It's not an easy one. It's easy in theory, in practice very difficult. If we can develop, you could say, a non-victimized mentality towards bad things that happen, whether they're from others or from the world, nature. There's three kinds of miseries that come from the world, from natural environments, from others, and from ourselves. But if we can think of that as reactions of our own karma and be grateful and not react in a reciprocal manner, then we can end the cycle of karma and be liberated. That's the meaning of this verse. It said, Mukti Pade Swadhyaya Bhak. You can achieve liberation if when bad things happen or when you're subjected to that, you don't try to react to give like a tit for tat kind of thing. Oh, this person did this for me. They poked me once, I'll punch them twice. What's that song? You hit me once. There's a pop song. I hit you twice. Anyway, the point is that this is how we progress in the path to salvation, to liberation. It's kind of like a Christian, like Jesus kind of, what does he say? Turn the other cheek. However, it's a caveat. However, if someone attacks Vaishnavas or devotees, we don't turn the other cheek. We defend. Someone who's another devotee or like a dependent, for ourselves we can tolerate. But for devotees we won't tolerate. Hanuman, our Gurudev would say, Hanuman was the best example of humility. How did he show it? By burning down Lanka. Because he said, for my Ram and my Sita, Ravan has done this to my Ram and my Sita, therefore I will burn down Lanka. This was his humility. And Gurudev said it was not his malice or hatred, it was his love. It was his love for Ram. Some people, they act violently only out of hate, not out of love. Hanuman only had such powerful, deep love, and also he acted under guidance. He wouldn't have done that without Ram's desire and permission, without Sita Devi's permission. So we should always, that's also important. Hanuman is the best sevak, the best servant of Ram. That means he's always under guidance. So we're meditating on gratitude. And there's a very sweet verse about gratitude, what we should be grateful for. And when I looked for this verse, because I was going to print it out and give to the devotees, but there wasn't too much time. But it also comes with a very, very beautiful class. And I don't know if we'll have time to go into it now. I want to go around and let people talk a bit. But very, very beautiful lecture by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj about Srila Rupa Goswami, his followers and their position. And in that, he gives this verse. Who knows which verse it's going to be? Mukta Charitam, number 2. Nama Shristam Anumapi Sachiputra Matra Sarupam Rupam Tasya Grajam Uruparim Maturim Gostavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Aho Radhika Madhavasyam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. It's very beautiful. He's speaking about what he's grateful for in relation to Sri Guru. And so that's why, gratitude should go beyond, because I was starting out, that we're grateful for having the opportunity to be in this ashram, to serve this ashram. But it's gratitude for the opportunity to serve. Ultimately, we should be grateful just to have, to God, the fact that we have food, shelter, warmth, company, good company, that's something to be grateful for. And so it's like, sometimes we set our bar too high and then we don't meet the bar and then we're not happy. I want this. I'm going to be king of the world, and if I'm not king of the world, I'm going to be miserable and angry at everybody. You're setting your bar too high. Good company, sadhu sangha, prasad, shelter. I'm grateful. Anything else that comes is gravy. Therefore today we had lots of gravy. Gravy isn't the main course. Gravy is what goes on top. Mashed potato is the main thing, then gravy. So gravy, what is that? So shelter, society, good company, opportunity to be engaged, belonging. We're grateful for that. Gravy is all of the extra stuff on top. Our purpose, fulfilling our, who we are meant to be. Sometimes in spiritual life we get too restless and agitated and anxious. I haven't progressed enough. Oh, I'm not a pure devotee yet. Oh, it's good to be anxious and want to advance, but it's also good to be peaceful, shant. One of the qualities of devotees is shant. They're peaceful. They're satisfied. They're also anxious. They also want to advance. But that both things can be there. Bhakti is a mysterious thing. I can be grateful and peaceful, but I can also be restless. And so I can be grateful that I am like this verse, Nama Shrista Manopi. Guru has given me the highest Nam, the names of Sri Krishna, which are non-different from himself. And by chanting these names, not only can liberation be achieved, but the purest, highest form of love can be achieved in a spiritual realm with a transcendental form, complete transcendental experience, simply by Nam, that highest name. Therefore, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says here, I have been given all these things from a particular source. My whole obeisance is there from where I have achieved these great hopes. So we're grateful for this great hope that Guru has given us. This prospect, the prospect or the ideal is that personality, that Guru, that man. A man should be valued by his ideal and not by other paraphernalia. So the ideal, the purity of the ideal is what is most necessary for us. So what I'm trying to say is we're grateful for the shelter, we're grateful for a place, but we should be even more grateful to Guru for what the teaching he has given us and the spiritual process he has given us. Gurudev said, my mercy is always flowing like a river, you simply have to dive in. So how do we dive in? Nam Shristam Harinam. Because if we're only grateful to Guru for the facility he gives us, then we can become Guru Bhogi, enjoyers of the property of Guru, and then this will lead to degradation of the facility. If everyone is simply in the mode of enjoying the facility, no one will maintain the facility, and then no one will have the facility. So therefore, we are endeavoring to be Guru Sevaks, servants of Sri Guru, and grateful for the opportunity to serve his temple, his ashram, his mission. But then we don't want to simply think about the structure, the facility. What is the message? What is the ideal? And how much are we progressing towards that ideal? So Nama Shrista Manopi Sachiputram, what are we grateful for? We're grateful for Mahaprabhu. Jadi Gauranga Nahito Tabiki Hoito Kemone Dhorito De Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagate Janato Ke. Without Mahaprabhu Sachinandan, the world, everyone knows of God. But Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagate Janato Ke. Who would know the glories of Radharani without Mahaprabhu? So many temples you go, Bhagavan, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Om Namo Shivaya. Jai Yahweh, Jesus Christ. Jai Muhammad. Jai.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. What's that mean?
This is Christian.
Hallelujah, but it's like referring to like that. So I think God is like Purush. But Mahaprabhu taught us, Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagate Janato Ke. Without Mahaprabhu, we would not know the highest limit of love, as exemplified by Srimati Radhika, who is Parashakti, the Lord's eternal part, you could say his eternal half, divine moieties, inseparable from him. So without Mahaprabhu, we would not know the glories of Srimati Radhika. Other teachers were there. People could say, oh, Krishna Bhakti was there. But was Radha Dasyam present without Mahaprabhu? Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa. So therefore we are grateful to Sri Guru in this line, because other lines are there, other gurus are there. But what are we grateful for to be here as Gaudiya Sampradaya followers? Sachiputra Matra Sarupa and Sarup Damodar. Who is Sarup Damodar? Lalita Devi. We are grateful for Lalita Devi to be here, guiding us, teaching us. We're trying to develop this balance of the sweetness and the focus on serving them. But first, if there's no sweetness, there's no passion or drive to do any of the service. It's a great task before us. Gurudev wants not only one ashram, many ashrams. How are you, if you can't maintain one, how will you maintain many? How will you inspire people to maintain many? So therefore, great focus is required, great passion, great endeavor is required. But without sweetness, none of that's possible. So we're grateful for the sweetness our Gurudev has given us. And who is Lalita Devi Sarup Damodar? So sweet. Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupurim, Shri Rupa Goswami and his elder brother Sanatan Goswami. Mathura Puri, Vrindavan, Gostavatim, the Brijabasis, Radha Kund, Shri Radha Kund, Girivaram, Shri Giriraj Govardhan. Oho! Radhika Madhavasam. In this verse, it's almost like the train is picking up speed as the verse continues. And he is meditating on Mukta Charit. He's meditating on everything he's grateful for from Sri Guru. But as he speaks, Nama Shristam, he starts, you could say, the beginning and the end, very important. So he begins with Nam. Nam is everything. Without Harinam, without Nam, there's nothing. Kevala Adhara. Only Nam. Therefore, everyday chant Harinam. But with Nam should come the conception. So we begin with Nama Shristam. We're grateful to Sri Nam, Krishna, holy names, the Mahamantra. Where would we be without the Mahamantra? So we're grateful for that. That Mahamantra is the great chant of deliverance that can bestow Krishna Prem. It's Siddha, completely pure, and there's no rules and regulation how to chant, where to chant. It's so merciful, and it gives you the greatest benefit. So if we're not grateful to it, then we won't spend time with Mahamantra. If we're grateful to the Mahamantra, then we'll realize the importance of the Mahamantra and we'll chant the Mahamantra. So Nama Shristam. But now he's picking up speed. What is the mood behind the Mahamantra? Sachiputram. Mahamantra is Mahaprabhu. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya. Mahaprabhu Chaitanya, he is the Mahamantra. That is Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir. Mahamantra is Radha Krishna combined. Who is that? Mahaprabhu. Mahamantra is Radha Krishna, Hare Krishna. Who is Radha Krishna in one mantra, one form? Mahaprabhu. So we're grateful to Mahaprabhu. And then Swarup Damodar. We're in the Swarup Rupanuga Gaudiya Sampradaya. Our line is following Mahaprabhu through Swarup Damodar, Rup Goswami. So therefore, Sachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam, Shri Rup Goswami. We're grateful for him. Raghunath Das Goswami is praying this verse. So Raghunath Das Goswami is acknowledging his teachers. They were almost like his peers, the elder from him. But it's like, he's not just saying Mahaprabhu, he's saying Rupam and his elder brother, Sanatan. Mathura, Goshtavatim, then he's picking up speed. Radha Kund, Giriraj, and Aho. When he says Aho, it means like it's an exclamation. Like, Aho means like, oh, how wonderful. How do you translate Aho? Ahoy! Ahoy means, oh, it's in sight. It's not a proper translation. Aho means great fortune, ecstatic, happiness. Aho! Radhika Madhavasya. The hope and the cherished, you could say asa, the cherished hope of the service of Radhika and Madhav, Krishna. Prapto yasya pratita kripaya. How have I achieved these things? Kripaya, by the mercy of Sri Guru. Sri Guru. Therefore, tam natosmi, I offer pranam to him. So these are some meditations on why we should be grateful, and I'll leave the floor to you all. That's something we can meditate a little bit on, gratitude, and how we can show our gratitude We say the easy way to show gratitude is to show up and to put in your effort. The results are in Krishna's hands. Sukha dukkhe same kritva, happiness, distress are equal. Labh labhao, gain and loss are equal. Jaya ajaya, victory and defeat are equal. But my duty is to do my seva, my dharma. The rest is in the hands of Krishna, in fate and destiny and Krishna's desire. So this is how we can show up. This is the mood of spiritual strength. That's why we want to develop this backbone in spiritual life. Don't easily fold. Don't be easily pushed over. 5 mile per hour wind and you fall over. Strength. Spiritual strength. And spiritual strength is present at the feet of Sri Guru. Therefore, dharo nitai, bye. Hold on to the feet of Guru, nitai. And develop this mood. Nothing in this world can faze me. I'm afraid of nothing. The only thing I'm afraid of is losing the shelter of Sri Guru. Losing connection to Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. Nothing else, nothing. If I die, that's nothing. What is death? Death is nothing. I'm not afraid of death. Prahlad Maharaj wasn't afraid of death. Why? Because he was present at the lotus feet of Guru Shakti, Krishna Shakti. Well, how do we develop that Shakti? Satam prasangam mama virya samvido. Krishna says, discussions of my self, my topics of me, Krishna Katha, spoken by the sadhus, that is my virya. We talk about heroism. What is the quality of a Kshatriya or a great hero? They're fearless. They're not afraid of pain. They're not afraid of suffering. They're not afraid of charging against 1,000 or 1,000,000 people alone. If I die, what is the harm? Nothing is lost. I'll live again and I'll fight again. It's the mood of a Kshatriya. That's how Kshatriyas in the Mahabharata, they fight with so much courage because they're not afraid of dying. If I die, what's the problem? I'll go to heaven and I'll enjoy Valhalla. And if we follow Sri Guru, what is the fear? There's no fear. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, I'll die 1,000,000 times for the sake of the service of my Guru. Yugala milan sukira karan jivana charite pari. I can happily give up my life for the pleasure, to arrange the meeting or to do the service of the divine couple. No fear. There's a story of a king asking how long this person should live, how long that person should live. Like a prince, Chirajiva. A prince should live very long because he's enjoying his good karma. When he dies, then he'll have exhausted his pious merits and he'll have to suffer if he didn't do good works. Then a butcher, whether he lives or dies, he's in hell. Because when he dies, the reactions to the slaughtering he's done, it's going to be very fearsome. Brahmachari sigramara. Brahmachari should quickly die. Why? So much tapasya. And the reward of the tapasya will be great. Opulence, great auspiciousness. But we don't consider ourselves brahmachari by ashram. But what are we trying to be? Devotees. Devotee is a higher thing, not grihastha, not brahmachari. These things are related to the ashram, no problem, it's good. But devotee, sadhu, whether they live or die, doesn't matter. They're always with Krishna. Krishna is always protecting them. There's no fear for the devotee. But what is the fear? To lose connection, to lose shelter. We want to. Horadika madhavasam. To have the shelter of the lotus feet, to have that sweetness of an internal relationship. That sweet relationship to Radha Krishna through Guru, through Vaishnavas, through Shiksha Guru. That shelter, like when we were talking at the class the other day, Rati Manjari, this is Raghunath Das Goswami's verse. When Radhika appeared to chastise her very strongly, get out. What have you done? She went outside the kunj and collapsed and was weeping. That's the only thing they feared. Jiva Goswami, he defended Srila Rupa Goswami from criticism. But then Rupa Goswami was displeased. He sent him away. Jiva Goswami lost his reason to live. He was fasting and weeping and crying, Ha Rupa, Ha Sanatan. He no longer chanted Mahamantra. He stopped chanting Mahamantra because Nam is Shreshtam. Where's Nam come from? Kripaya, Shri Guru Tam Natosmi. Harinam has come from Shri Guru. Prapto Jasya Pratita Kripaya. That mercy is, Sri Guru has given me these things. So when Jiva Goswami was, you could say, sent away by Rupa Goswami, he went into a crocodile cave and he was ready to fast until death, crying out, Haru, 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 Hasanata. So this is our meditation. Nothing else gives us any fear. If we have that, this is called rag, attraction and love. And if we can develop this quality of sadhutva, chastity, and bhajan, there's nothing to fear. And so therefore we should be courageous in spiritual life. Without, you could say, undaunting. Dauntless. So I want to pass the floor to anyone else. Anyone want to speak anything? You can just go in a circle. Jagadish Prabhu, Malini, Prem, any meditations for today? Malini, you can share something.
You speak so nicely.
Tirtha, Priya, you can speak something. Anything.
Junior, what?
One word, one sentence, one phrase.
I'll go after Jagadish.
Jagadish
Malini,
Prabhu,
and Prem.
Let's start with the babies first.
Okay, Tirtha, speak something. What are you grateful for today on this holiday?
Mic or not?
Yeah, you can use the mic. Good idea. Tirtha's ready. Pass the mic.
Wait, where about Arjun?
Arjun, what are you grateful for? You grateful for Mama?
Arjun, come here. What do you
Arjun,
like?
come.
What are you grateful for? Grateful means something that you're happy with.
He's afraid of the
Okay,
mic.
after Tirtha, he doesn't like mic.
Yeah.
I go, so I'm so grateful for this opportunity first to be here and to be with all the devotees in this amazing sadhusanga. I don't know a better place for myself right now in the whole world, so it's only by Krishna's and Gurudev's mercy that I'm here. So on this Thanksgiving Day, I'm giving all my respect to all the Vaishnavas that I've met and that have been so kind to me. Vasanta Prabhu in Lithuania, who took care of me when I was a newborn baby, and only by his mercy I was able to develop some intelligence to at least stay in the path and be on the path. And I'm so grateful that he sent me here. And yeah, as Rasik was saying, Gurudev's mercy is always flowing, and it's only up to us how much we're willing to accept it and embrace it and be, at least have some respect for what he's giving us and what all the Vaishnavas are giving us. So I don't want to take too much time, so I will.
Arjun.
You like cookies?
Okay, Mama can say something. Haribo.
I got tricked. Okay, well, I'm grateful for,
Arjun, wait.
you want to say something?
I like Radha and Krishna.
Oh! I like Radha and Krishna, very nice. Are you grateful for Radha Krishna?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
okay.
saying it again. I like Krishna.
Oh, very nice.
I like Krishna.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Very
don't
good, very nice. Sorry, Arjun. That's the essence of all Harikatha.
I want
We
it.
started with that.
I want it now.
Okay. You gonna let your mom talk now?
Arjun,
You
come
gonna
here.
sit with Auntie Malini?
Arjun, come here. Your mama's gonna say something. Come here. No?
Okay, I'm grateful that my Guru Maharaj accepted me, even though I have millions of daily faults and mess up all the time. And I'm so grateful that we are not these bodies. Super grateful for that. And I'm glad that humility yeah, that I'm here to learn. And so I'm really grateful to know that, because it's like so much better than like feeling like I have to be puffed up or have an ego about things, because that just like vibrationally doesn't feel good. So it's really nice to know that I can be a complete failure. But yet succeed by being.
We love
Well,
Ananda Pradhan
Anand-
at her worst.
Anand, you're revealing your own good qualities, because they say a tree with many fruits bows down and is humble, and thinks themselves to have has no good qualities. So Jai, here you go.
Vrindavan and
Mangala, you can go. Mangala's right there. Here you go, Mangala Gita.
they said youngest first.
We're grateful that Mangala Gita is visiting. Haribo.
So much seva.
To be here.
She did so much seva.
I got pancake.
I'm very behind on my the ability to do seva, but I try my best. Hare Krishna. What am I grateful for? Well, I'm grateful for having the chance. Somehow or other, I got mercy of Guru, mercy of Krishna, and somehow or other I'm progressing on the spiritual path. And I'm getting the intelligence to understand certain things slowly. You know, I'm still far from being a qualified devotee, but I'm just trying. And see the intelligence to understand, for example, the importance of sadhu sangha, the importance of association with devotees, because these things, if I rewind a few years ago, I did not understand these things, and now I'm getting this very strong feeling that that how important it is to have this association with devotees, to have this association with qualified devotees, nurturing environment, like you're saying. So I'm very grateful for this association of advanced devotees, and especially this ashram is so amazing, and this group of devotees is just so sweet and nurturing and pioneering. I mean, to open up such a space and in the middle of nowhere, and just having this unique, amazingly beautiful deities come just a few months later, and it's just it's like an oasis of bhakti, and I'm very grateful to be here. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say anything else, but thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Vrindavan, share something. We're grateful for Vrindavan being here. Haribo! Vrindavan is awesome.
Young and it's kind